Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the coffee stream. This is the very first coffee stream, and hopefully, it's the first of a long line of coffee streams. I'm excited to start this. We'll be doing this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And Fridays, I'm hoping to have guests on. So, maybe I should pause the stream on my phone so that we don't hear two of me, because that's not necessary. All right then. Hopefully that's the only technical difficulty we have. So today's gonna be just me doing some news and hopefully having an AMA about my blindness. I did a stream about my blindness a couple of months back, but I figured, not everyone saw it, and I've gotten some new subs and some new followers, so I'm sure that there will be some questions that didn't get asked last time or didn't get heard last time, so we'll just do another one, because I don't mind that. But I've got some really interesting news articles for us to take a look at as well, and probably going to end up ranting about a couple of them. So, hey, hi, Shady Grin. First and sexiest. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for showing up, Shady. So we've got a bunch of news articles. I'm going to pull up my Twitter because I have DM'd them to myself. And we got a couple of news stories from the lovely Vamp Candy as well. They covered them on the Kumite on Friday, but they have to do with blind people, and they really pissed me off, so I asked her to send me them. So we'll take a look at those as well. So let's just pull up my Twitter page here. Probably should have had that done before we started, but who cares, right? We're just doing some loosey-goosey fun streaming here. Oh, wow, thank you, Scrub. I think that's Scrub. And I think I just screwed up my password. There we go. I can do this. I know I can. Okay. I don't have any guests set for Friday yet. So, if anyone wants to come and chat and natter with me on Fridays, or on Friday, that would be the September the 14th, please send me a DM. And I will pencil you in. If not, we may just call Pincalo the Driving Ape Man and see what he's up to. Now, here's the first news story that I found. Well, actually, Vamp sent it to me, and I read the whole article, and it really pissed me off. So, let's take a look at this. It's from CTV Montreal. It's titled, Quebec's First Blind Candidate Has a Vision for the Province. Because, that title's just not dripping with just disgusting inspiration. It's called inspiration porn. Oh, hello, Cyclone B. Hello. Oh, and it's arguing over who's sexier. Uh-oh. We have a sexiness argument in the chat, people, between Cyclone B and Shady Grin. It's on. Let's take a look here. Let's get through all of these ridiculous ridiculous advertisements. That's one thing that sucks about having a screen reader is you have to tab through everything, find all sorts of, there we go. You have to tab through all of the freaking links and headings, and oh, it's annoying. Okay, so her name is Camille Saint Laurent, and she is running for the Quebec Solidaire Party, which is a very left, very left-leaning party. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to actually. I'm going to slow the speech down on my voice. Okay, accessibility preferences. We're gonna quickly lower the voice speed so that I can have the screen reader read the story so that I'm not trying to listen and repeat what it's saying. Why? No. Voiceover. Thank you. Okay. Why can I not? Well, it's gonna take me too long to figure out how to get this slowed down. It's at, I believe, 60%. So I'm hoping you guys can understand. I'll be repeating some of the things that it says as I rant. What was I gonna say? So I'm gonna try really hard to repeat the cogent points, just in case you guys can't understand the screen reader. But I don't want to spend 10 minutes fucking around with this thing and waste time. So we're gonna have it read the story. Hopefully you guys can understand it, and I will go over the cogent points. So here we go. Quebec Solidaire candidate Camille Street-Laurent is believed to be the first visually impaired candidate for provincial office in Quebec history. Photo: Quebec Solidaire /Twitter. The Canadian Press. Published Sunday. Sept. Black. Last Quebec Solidaire's Camille Street-Laurent wants voters. Last updated. Quebec Solidaire's Camille Street-Laurent wants voters to see beyond the fact that she cannot. Really? That's your opening line? She wants Quebec voters to look beyond the fact that. What did it say? Last update. Quebec Solidaire's Camille Street-Laurent wants voters to see beyond the fact that she cannot. You are currently on the. Wow. She wants voters to see beyond the fact that she cannot. Are you trying to get people to feel sorry for this lady, reporter? The left-leaning Sovereigntist Party touts Street-Laurent, 23, as the first visually impaired candidate to seek office in Quebec provincial politics. So she's 23 years old. It's a Sovereigntist Party, so it's a left-leaning separatist party. Oh, goody. Goody, goody gumdrops. Street-Laurent is proud to be running, regardless of whether she is the first, and comfortable with the idea she could inspire others. You are currently on it. Who cares whether you're the first or the last or the 85,000th blind person? You're running. What's your platform? What's your angle? What are you running on? What's your basis for running? Just that you're blind? Look at me, I'm blind. Vote for me. Is that your thing? Like, but she also wants electors to look past her disability. Then why are you talking about it so much? Why is there a news article saying that she's the very first blind person to run for Quebec office. If she wants people to look past her disability, why is it focusing so much on her disability?
I want people to see beyond that and what I can give to them. All the experience I've had in my life, I want to share with them, she said in an interview. You are currently on the test line. The political novice decided last winter to seek election in the October 1st provincial-wide vote after consulting friends and family. You are currently on.
So she's a novice.
Just 4 years ago, running in politics would have been an afterthought for the native of Granby. That's when a newlywed Street Laurent lost her vision after several surgeries for detached retinas.
Okay, so she got detached. Her retina's detached, so she lost her vision that way. I know somebody who's going through that right now. So 4 years ago, she lost her sight. Okay.
Street Laurent said her personal grieving is complete and politics is a way to move forward. You are currently.
Okay, so you're using the province. You're done grieving the loss of your sight. Okay, that's fine. You take however long or short you want to grieve. But the province is like, are you using that as a way of giving back? Are you using the province as a stepping stone for your personal emotional well-being? Like, what is your platform? What?
I said, why not give it a try? She said, it's a life experience too. You are currently on it.
Yes, but generally it's a life experience for people who have life experience and want to share that life experience and try and make their province better. It's not, hey, let's give this a whirl just to put on my resume as something I did. You're running for provincial office. You're running to be in charge of a whole bunch of constituents, and people will look up to you and rely on you. They don't care that you're trying to gain life experience. They want you to have life experience already. Come on.
I thought to myself that I can do it. Yes, I'm blind. Yes, I'm 23. But these are things I can use in my favor. You are
How? How can you use being 23 in your favor? And as a blind person, do you think I'm just going to run out and vote for somebody just because they're blind? What do you think you can use that in your favor for? Like, what, the pity vote? What wow, I can use my blindness in that's in my favor. Yeah, you're a politician, all right. You're just a one who's not figured out that you're not supposed to be blatant about this shit. Jesus Christ.
A Quebec Solidaire supporter since becoming an adult. She became involved at the grassroots level last fall. Not long after, the party began gauging her interest in running. You are currently on a text. Although she lives in Quebec Solidaire's East End Montreal power base, she picked the Western Montreal riding of Marguerite Bourgeois, where the party has never topped more than 1,508 votes in an election. You are currently.
Okay, so you live in a riding that has a strong Solidaire base, but you are choosing to go and run in a riding where you never get more than 1,508 votes. Okay.
Alongside a team of volunteers, she's also learning more about the multicultural electoral district that includes a large Sikh population. She first visited the riding while attending a local Gurdwara with her husband, who is Sikh. You are currently on a text element.
Who cares if her husband is Sikh?
She says living with a disability allows her to put her empathy, openness, and willingness to listen to others to the forefront. Advantages on the campaign trail. You are currently on.
No, being empathic is not an advantage on the campaign trail. You are going to be eaten alive if you wear your empathy on your sleeve, lady. You better learn that right now. You're going to get chewed up and spit out. And you're... Oh.
For me, it's much more of a strength than a negative that I lost my vision, she says. You are currently on a text pitted against Liberal cabinet heavyweight Elena David among other candidates. An undaunted Street Laurent said door knocking during the campaign's first week went well as she pitched her priorities like accessibility and fighting poverty. You are currently on a text out 4 years removed from a life-changing experience. Street Laurent feels she's ready to give back to society through politics. You are currently on it. If you want to make change, do it yourself and go for it, she said. You are currently on.
Yes.
8. You are currently on it.
But the thing is, she's running in a... She's young. She's running in an area that's not a strong Solidaire base. She's running in an area that's got a strong Sikh population. And yes, her husband is Sikh, but not all Sikhs Like, Sikh culture doesn't necessarily value blindness as a strength. Like, I'm not saying that Sikhs hate blind people, but I'm saying that different cultures have different attitudes towards the disabled, and you're not gonna get the reception you think you like. Yeah, the first week of door knocking went well, but that's the first week. You've got a lot ahead of you. I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't want her to fail, but I think she's very naive. I think this reporter is going for the feel good story, and um the disabled community calls it inspiration porn, because it tries to make disabled people, oh, look at how inspiring they are. If they can do it, then you can do it too, like that type of thing. And it's very, ugh, it's very, she says she doesn't want to focus on her disability, but yet this whole article keeps repeating how she's the first blind, you know, political, to run for political office in Quebec. And, it's very, look at this blind girl running. Isn't it amazing? And I don't like it. I don't like it. I think that story could have been written a lot differently. And if she truly didn't want her disability focused on, then she wouldn't have come out right out and said, I can use the blindness in my favor. I think that was a bad move, especially if you're going to say you don't want your disability, to be something that stops you and makes people, view you differently. Well, then don't say that you can use your blindness in your favor. That's that's not no. I'm going to plug my headphones back in and cue up the next story, and let's take a look at what chat has to say here. Oh, hello, Tonka. Yes, that's my screen reader. Sorry it's so fast. Yes, exactly. Opinionated Scotsman wants people to look past her blindness, but uses it as her main platform for election. Yeah, simpy votes are a tried and true technique, Zyklumby. Exactly. Hi, Pincalo. Be safe on the road. Yeah, she ought to clean up in the back demographic. All right. All right. Well, that's our first. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and watching. We're gonna get to our next news story, which makes me super crazy. Close the CTV Montreal tab. Get back into the messages. Come on, computer. There we go. What are you doing? Why are you freezing up? Come on. There we go. All right. Get back to the messages. And we're going to find the next story, which is the one that I wanted. Let's see. CTV Montreal is the one that I've already done. Oh, yes. Washington Post, all the way in the States, is talking about our good old province of Ontario and our sex ed curriculum. Now, I'm going to do a very quick preamble about this because not many people outside of Ontario will know. In 2015, our government tried to update our sexual health curriculum for elementary schools, and they wanted to include talking about, of course, the genders and homosexual relationships, and they wanted to cover masturbation, and they wanted to cover just a whole bunch of different stuff. And some of it I can understand wanting to talk about. They did want to talk about mental health a bit more, bring it, like, talk about depression, because it wasn't just about sex, it was the sex ed and health curriculum. But talking about, they wanted to introduce same-sex relationships to second and third graders. They wanted to introduce talking about masturbation and the different genders and non-binary and all that stuff. And that's where a lot of people were having issues with that part of it. And when we did our provincial elections, our new premier said that he wanted to scrap that, and he did. He went back to the 1998 curriculum. Now, he's not doing this. He has said himself that he's not going to just stick with the 1998 curriculum. He says that there needs to be updates. It just needs to be different updates. But the left and all the crazy batshit SJWs are insisting that he is scrapping the 2015 curriculum and only going to go back to this 30-year-old sex ed curriculum, and it's all about how rape is permissible, and it's going to, and with his, putting alcohol in the grocery stores now, there's just going to be drunk children running around raping everybody. This is basically their theory. So this story is covered all the way in the Washington Post, and it is titled, Ontario reverts to an outdated sex ed curriculum as Ontario shifts to the right, by Amanda Coletta. So here we go.
Toronto, in elementary schools across Ontario this week, the first day of school was filled with the usual mix of nervousness and excitement for young students, but many teachers had back-to-school jitters themselves thanks to a recent announcement from the new provincial government. You are currently on a tech. In July, the center-right government of Premier Doug Ford said it was scrapping the sex education curriculum updated in 2015 and replacing it with the version from 1998, when same-sex marriage was not yet legal in Canada and social media and cyberbullying were unknown to most parents. It also set up what critics are calling a link snitch line that allows parents to anonymously report teachers for not teaching the old version.
Okay, so just to give a cogent summary, because my screen reader went blah, 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 and a lot of people are having trouble. Basically, it says that the curriculum is going to be used for an outdated, like they're switching to the outdated curriculum when same-sex marriage wasn't legal and cyberbullying wasn't known. And it was going to talk about sexting and cyberbullying, which again, I think needs to happen. And notice how even the Washington Post said center right. Center right. Not alt-right, not far right, center right. This is not, and watch, I guarantee you, they call them center right, but they're gonna change this later on in the article. I guarantee it.
The decision, which fulfilled one of Ford's campaign promises, was the latest in a series of changes made since he was sworn in as premier in late June. He has quashed the province's carbon pricing policy, clashed with the federal government over asylum seekers, halved the number of city councillors in Toronto, and scrapped a basic income pilot project.
Yes, because the basic income, oh, don't get me started on that. That's another rant for another day. But yes, he followed up with his campaign promises. This is another fucking Trump he's actually doing what he promised, and everyone's like, oh my god, no! How dare he do what he said he was gonna do? The bastard! Like, is this because this is a new era of politicians doing what they actually said they're gonna do, and everyone's like, huh? What?
Like many of those decisions, the sex education switch has left officials scrambling, spawned a barrage of legal challenges, and provoked public backlash. You are currently on a tech. If you take the 1998 curriculum at face value, it's outrageously out of date, said Lauren Bialystov, a professor in social justice education at the University of Toronto's Ontario Institute for Studies in Education. The rollback, she added, would put the health and safety of children at risk and led them to adopt dangerous conceptions of sexuality, consent, and body image.
I was taught that curriculum, and I was still pretty sure that raping people was bad, and that you should, protect yourself against sexually transmitted infections and diseases, and that, bullying people was wrong. But it may not have been about talking about it on the internet, but I'm pretty sure we learned that bullying people was wrong. I'm pretty sure we learned that, like, I've read a couple of Facebook posts where people were saying, when I was in school, I got a rape whistle and told to blow it and not yell rape. But yeah, that was in the 80s, not the 90s. And these people are acting like this is what we're going back to. And it's really frustrating. And it's really amusing that this ended up in an American newspaper, a national newspaper.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, comprehensive sex education programs have been shown to reduce high-risk behavior, a clear factor for sexual violence victimization and perpetration. You are currently on a comma. The 2015 curriculum, welcomed by educators as a long overdue update, included new topics such as same-sex relationships, masturbation, gender identity, consent, and the dangers of sexting. It was also controversial at the time, particularly among some religious groups and socially conservative organizations, which felt that some of its topics were age inappropriate and best left to parents to address. Opponents staged protests carrying signs reading "My child, my choice," and thousands of students were kept home from school by their parents as a show of opposition. You are currently on it
because they wanted to talk about masturbation in third fucking grade. They wanted to talk about same-sex marriage, like relationships and gender identity in third fucking grade. Of course the parents were, it wasn't just socially conservative parents. Jesus Christ, I'm for gay marriage, pot legalization, all that shit. I wouldn't want my son learning about that stuff in third grade. That's not age appropriate at all. It's not. I'm sorry. I don't care. It's not age appropriate.
Bialystov said the tempest mostly petered out as parents spoke with teachers who busted many of the myths propagated at the time about the 2015 curriculum, such as that it taught students how to perform various sex acts.
Yes, that was something that the religious groups were saying, that it was trying to teach kids how to perform sex acts, which that wasn't true. That was a fear-mongering tactic by the religious groups, and I will fully admit that. And the teachers did work very hard in allaying those fears.
Link. The overwhelming majority said they supported the update. Period. You are currently on it. Now they're in effect being muzzled, she said, noting that while some school boards have said they will support teachers who wish to teach topics from the newer curriculum, others have not, leaving teachers in a difficult position. You are currently on a text.
But there's not an Ontario-wide mandate that says that teachers will be fired or muzzled or whatever.
Ford has not elaborated on what it is about the 2015 curriculum that he opposes, saying only that he believes it was not subjected to enough consultation.
I agree.
Anna, an 8th grade teacher in Toronto, said she will embed material from the 2015 curriculum into lesson plans for subjects other than health. She plans to show students clips of HBOs. You are link. The Handmaid's Tale.
Whoa! You want to show 8th graders The Handmaid's Tale? For sex ed? Do they have crack in the staff rooms in high schools in Toronto? What the fuck is wrong with people these days? Holy fuck! Jesus!
And have them read Judy Blume's link, Deanie.
Oh, good. Even better. Reading Judy Blume's Deanie.
She spoke on the condition that only her first name be used because of concerns that she could lose her job.
Because you want to show them The Handmaid's Tale! You fucktard! I'm going to use my first name because I might get fired. Well, you're showing them an HBO. First of all, it's HBO, and you know that HBO doesn't censor itself. That's why Game of Thrones was put on HBO. So first of all, you're going to show them something that HBO produced. Second of all, you're going to show them The Handmaid's Tale, which if anyone's read the book, it's a very fucked up book. And third of all, you're going to use that as sexual education and in your health curriculum? Newsflash, lady, that is fiction. That is called fiction, and that is not how it works in the real world. Now who's teaching unhealthy fucking sexual ideas? Holy moly!
Yala Sharifali, who teaches 7th and 8th grade health in Waterloo, Ontario, said that she has received an outpouring of support from parents who are backing her decision to continue teaching topics such as gender identity and online safety in her classes.
Okay, see? Teaching gender identity and online safety to 7th and 8th graders? Perfectly age appropriate. Absolutely. No reason why they should stop that. I don't know where they're coming up with there's going to be a snitch line. I haven't heard anything about a snitch line. This article only mentioned it once. Why are these teachers saying that they're going to be muzzled?
Not teaching them, she said, amounts to a real disservice to her students, who are well aware of the controversy over the rollback and asking questions about it. You are current.
Well, of course they're well aware of it. No one's going to shut up about it.
I hear a lot of people say, if we don't talk about it in health, students will be exposed to it in literature class. But if it's okay to be taught in literature, why isn't it okay to be taught in health? She said. You are currently.
Who says that? If they don't talk about it in health, they'll talk about it in literature. Who says that shit? Do these people just make things up for articles? Like when they get interviewed, do they go, what's a good thing to say?
Education Minister Lisa Thompson said her ministry would launch consultations for a new curriculum that might be introduced in 2019.
Well, then what's the big fucking deal? Fucking revise it. Change the ages that you want to talk about certain things. Like Doug Ford didn't say he wasn't going to allow an updated curriculum. He just wasn't going to allow that updated curriculum. Jesus Christ, why do I have to defend Doug Ford? Fuck.
In the meantime, the Ford government will be fighting several legal battles over the curriculum rollback.
Why?
Currently on a text, both the Canadian Civil Liberties Association and the province's largest teachers union have filed injunctions in a bid to stop the government from replacing the 2015 curriculum and to cancel the snitch line. You are currently on. Read more.
Okay, but now I'm curious. Does this snitch line actually exist? Let's take a look at chat. Yeah, opinionated Scotsman, you're right. Around the start of puberty is a better age to be learning this fun stuff. Oh, thank you, Nico. Yes, Pincalo, exactly. Doug Ford is being likened to the Donald Trump of Canada, and he is like the state governor, and he did replace an out and proud lesbian who was basically our Hillary. Just as bad, just as shilly, just as corporate. Yep, right down to deleting email scandals. Yep. Exactly, Nico. 6th grade. We started learning in 6th grade as well. Sex ed is a good thing, but you don't need to be teaching it to fucking 7 and 8-year-olds. I'm sorry. You just. I think they might have, yeah, Pincalo, maybe 1st or 2nd grade. Oh yes, Nico, Common Core. I really hope it doesn't come up here because that's just crazy. Yeah, the birthing video. Yes. Good. Drag queen reads to kids in kindergarten? No, not okay. So many frivolous lawsuits. Yes, exactly. Yes, Cyclone B, look at chat. I always do that. So that's our second news story here. Let's see here. I thought I closed that CTV Montreal stupid thing. And here's the last one I have for myself, and then we have two that Vamp sent me, and then we're gonna get to the AMA. I'm hoping to be done this by 11:15 to 20 after 11, because I don't want to run into the Kumite. So we've got this. This one is from the Sun. Why is it doing that? Okay. There we go. This one's called Tube Train Drives Over Family. Oh, come on. Why am I in the bookmarks? There we go. Okay, let's get to the headline here. All right. Tube train drives over family as mom falls with buggy onto tracks, but they survive. So here's one that I'm probably going to get a little ranty about because, yeah, you'll see why.
As a train hurtled towards the family at Baker Street Underground Station, the trio were able to jump into a pit under the track to avoid being killed, authorities said. By Mark Hodge. September 8, 2018, 10.
So this happened Saturday.
Updated, September 9, 2018, 2:27 p.m. A family of three miraculously survived after the mother and child fell into the path of an oncoming tube train yesterday. You are currently on a text element after the woman and her buggy accidentally fell onto the tracks at Baker Street Underground Station. The infant's father jumped down to save them. A family survived after a tube train ran over them at Baker Street Station yesterday. Figure. Link. Image. Getty. Contribute. Visited. Link. 1. A family survived after a tube train ran over them at Baker Street Station yesterday.
Yes, you repeated that 3 times.
A family survived after a tube train ran over them at Baker Street Station yesterday. Figure. Horizontal rule. Did you see what happened or know the family? Call the Sun online. Link. Tips at the Sun. Horizontal rule. The woman, who was pushing her child in a buggy, is believed to have been distracted by an indicator board on the station platform and tumbled off the edge of the platform.
Okay, so as a blind mom who has a 4-year-old and a baby, I've done a lot of stroller pushing. I use a cane and I push my stroller. I have never fallen off of anything like a raised platform or anything like that. And I have, it's not like I constantly concentrate and pay the utmost attention to what I'm doing. I have gotten distracted. But I have never been so distracted that I have pushed my kids onto a road or train tracks or like Jesus Christ, you're just looking at the indicator board and all of a sudden you push and that's a far drop. That's not like a few inches. That's a drop.
The child's father jumped down onto the tracks in a frantic effort to save them, but a train was also pulling into the station. You are currently on a text
Jesus Christ.
Fellow passengers and the couple's second child watched on in horror as the family ducked for cover in the pit below the track as the train sped over them.
There was a second kid. He almost watched his mom and sibling get fucking killed because his mom was like, "Oh, look at the blinky board." Like, I know I should be like not so mean, but they survived, so I'm more inclined to be like, "Woman, what the fuck? Pay attention."
They narrowly avoided touching the live electric rails, which would have also proved fatal.
Oh my god.
Inside of web content.
I forgot the tracks were electric. Fuck, man.
To exit this web area, the family were traveling on the southbound Jubilee line, which is one of just 2 deep lines that passes through Baker Street. The other underground lines don't have a pit running below the track. You are currently on a text.
So they were lucky as fuck that there was a pit underneath that track, or they would have been fried and then smushed in front of their fucking other child.
A spokesman for British Transport Police said she didn't realize how near she was to the edge of the platform and accidentally pushed the buggy wheels over it. You are currently on a text element. G. The buggy and the child fell onto the track. The father jumped down to help them. When they saw a train coming, all three were extremely fortunate in being able to move into a pit under the track and the train passed safely over the top of them. No one was injured in the incident, which is being dubbed the miracle of Baker Street. You are currently on a text.
Oh, no, that ain't no miracle. That was Darwin giving you a second chance, family. That's what that was. Just saying.
Theater producer Peter Holland wrote on Twitter, "This is such a relief. We got to the platforms at Baker Street just as this happened. The train whistling, people screaming and running in tears. You are currently on it. I can't tell you how relieved I am to hear this wasn't fatal. Thoughts out to the driver of the train. Unbelievable. You are currently on a tech."
Yeah, no shit. Thoughts go out to the driver of the train. I would not have wanted to be that driver if they weren't able to get under the tracks. But good Lord, woman, pay the fuck attention. Oh my God. Yes, you can drink tea here, Gaius. Cyclone B. It is. It is. Yes, shots fired. I get angry and ranty when I see stupid. And now we go to the wonderful stories that the lovely Vamp Candy sent me, because I asked her very nicely to send them to me. So thank you, Vamp Candy. Let's get into the messages again. And again, if you were watching the Kumite on Friday, you will recognize these stories. But I figured it would be fun to see have a blind person's perspective. There we go. All right. Here we go. Let's get to that headline again. All right, here we go. The headline is, he was caught with child pornography. His defense, he's blind. All right, let's go.
By Josh Magnus. Link. JMac link. Share on Facebook. Link. Pinterest link. Retweet link. Print link.
No,
August 30th,
I'm not going to
2007.
share this.
A British man charged with possession of child pornography has a strange reason for downloading the obscene images. He's blind. You are currently on Andrew Shaw, 44, faces. Link. 3 charges of allegedly possessing 71 pornographic images of children on his personal computer.
Jesus, 71? I missed that number on Friday.
According to the Telegraph. His lawyer, Alan Cobain, argued that Shaw didn't know the images were of children because of his poor eyesight. You are currently on a text. This is an unusual case as my client is registered blind. Link. Said, according to the Blackpool Gazette. He has no sight in one eye and only a small amount in the other. It may be argued that difficulty with his vision makes it difficult for him to put an age to images he downloads. You are currently on.
No. You have to Google images first. You have to search. You have to click on things. They don't just randomly pop up. Hey, here's a picture. I wonder what it is. If that's what happened, then your computer is the very first predicted. Your computer is evolving and is predicting what you want, and still that makes you a gross person because your computer predicted that you wanted images of kids, and it should be burnt with a fucking incinerator. Anyway.
Enter email address. Edit. He has no sight in one eye and only a small amount in the other. Enter link. Privacy link. Terms.
Oh, that's
link.
it?
Sign up. He may think he is looking at 16-year-olds. He may think he is looking at 16-year-olds. Link. The age of consent in Britain is 16. According to BBC. Led by his black Labrador guide dog, Shaw entered the Blackpool Magistrates Court alongside his wife. You are currently on.
Oh! Oh! That's embarrassing for his poor wife. Oh, snap. Wonder if she's okay with him looking at porn or if she's one of those women that hates porn, because that would just be extra awful for him. Not that I feel bad for him, because you still have to search for the fucking images. They don't, like I said, they don't just show up.
Link. She is all according to Link. She is also blind and was led into the court by her white Labrador guide dog.
Oh, oh, God, she's blind too? Oh, Lord. Okay. Dude, just. Dude, why?
According to the Mirror, Shaw has been under investigation for over a year. According to the Mirror, he was granted bail. The magistrates adjourned the court proceedings for the time being so the Crown Prosecution Service could examine the case again, according to the Blackpool Gazette. You might be wondering, how is a blind man viewing porn? Recently, some porn sites have worked to be more inclusive toward users with different disabilities. Pornhub.com, for example. You are currently on a link. Has introduced described videos on its site that feature a woman narrating a porn video.
Yes, it has.
In between moans, of course, according to Esquire. It was an initiative that Pornhub Vice President Corey Price said makes porn more accessible. We did feel it important to start to include this type of more accessible content on our platform, though. Link, he said to the Huffington Post. Given the relative ambiguity of the concept and the sheer number of people who are visually impaired around the world. Heading level 2. Suggested for you.
Okay, but I doubt Pornhub. Well, I don't know because I'm not on there a lot, but I doubt Pornhub has kitty porn on it. And why would you be looking up images if you're basically blind? Like, you have very little sight in your one eye and no sight in your other eye. Just deal with the dude. Just go and have a meeting with your lawyer and tell him you plead no contest and you want to do this out of court so that your poor wife doesn't have to go through this crap. Come on. I'm blind. I didn't know what I was downloading. Yeah, you know what? Fuck off. Just fuck off. Let's see what chat's got to say here. Yes, some people shouldn't be allowed to have kids, opinionated Scotsman. You're right from the other story. Yeah, looking for 16-year-olds isn't any better. Looking for age of consent in UK be damned. Exactly, Zachlon B. Exactly. Exactly. That is absolutely the right frickin' thing to go about. Oh. All right. Now, here we go with our last story. This one's called Blind Man Sued for illegally downloading porn he can't watch. All right, here we go.
California porn studio Imperial Enterprises, Inc. is suing 3,500 people for link, illegally downloading. You are the company's pornographic content. However, one of the defendants claims there's no way he would have downloaded the illegal stuff. So what's his proof? Imperial Enterprises has his IP address, which is reason enough to believe that he downloaded the porn, right? John Doe, as he has chosen to be named, is actually blind. You are currently... Though some of you may be thinking maybe he downloaded it to have something to listen to, Doe claims he has been falsely accused. The legally blind man said he was too busy to password protect his Wi-Fi connection, which resulted in someone else getting on his network and downloading the porn, entitled Tokyo Cougar Cream Peas. You are
Cream Pies voiceover. Cream Pies. Fucking screen reader. And, dude, too busy? It takes like a minute. Just say you didn't know. Just admit it. You didn't know. You didn't know.
Doe told the Seattle Weekly that the whole thing was a little ridiculous as his movie watching ability is non-existent. He said his kids watch movies, but they're 4 and 6, so they don't watch porn either. Well, hopefully they don't.
Dude, your movie watching abilities are not... Oh my god. You're one of those blind people, aren't you? You're one of those. I don't know what red is. Yes, you do. It's a color. You know that it's a color, don't you? Fuck. You can listen to a movie, can't you? You can admit that you didn't know how to password your Wi-Fi, can't you? Jesus. Oh.
Unfortunately, Doe will likely have to settle since he doesn't have the money to afford a lawyer to counter the lawsuit, nor does he have the money to pay if he loses the lawsuit. Going in front of the judge would cost thousands of dollars, and it would cost hundreds of thousands if he lost the case. You are currently on a test.
Then take the minute and learn how to password protect your Wi-Fi.
So if neither Doe, his wife, nor his two small children downloaded the porn, who did? The does apparently live in a densely populated area, which means there's a lot of people in close proximity that are able to hack or just connect to Doe's Wi-Fi. You are currently...
Yes, which is why I'm going to say it again. You take the minute and you password your Wi-Fi.
We've seen this happen time and time again, and this is certainly a wake-up call to protect your Wi-Fi password. The big companies will not take pity on who they sue. If they have your IP address and they have proof of something being illegally downloaded from your address, that's all they need to bring you to court. Back in April, we told you about one man who was arrested by 7 armed officers for allegedly downloading kiddie porn. Of course, it was another case of an open Wi-Fi network that some other guy was piggybacking off of.
I'm going to say it one last time. I promise this is the last time. This is why you password your Wi-Fi.
Moral of the story, once again, is to password protect your Wi-Fi network.
See? Even the article says it. Even the article says password protect your Wi-Fi. Silly person. Hello, Jesse Defendant Fox. How are you? Yes, see, yes, exactly, Zeklon B. Exactly. He's looking for an excuse for poor behavior. UK age of consent about to be reduced to 11 if the Muslims have their way. Nice, Gaius. Nice, Gaius. Very nice. You're not gonna lie, your curiosity is way up about what blind porn is. That's awesome. Too lazy to put a password on your Wi-Fi in a densely populated area. You are the lazy one, sir. Yes, Pincolo. Yes, exactly. Too many stupid people in this world. Very true, opinionated Scotsman. All right, guys. Those are all of the news stories I have for you. And it's 10 to 11. So we've got a good 25 minutes to half an hour for some questions. If any of you guys have any questions for me about being blind or how the hell I use my computer and listen to that screen reader go blibbity blibbity blib, or how I handle the kids or how I operate the channel or anything, feel free to ask. I'm just going to take a minute to shill the links in my description while we're waiting for some questions. There's my Twitter, of course. There's a Patreon that I just started last week. The tiers are for $1, $5, and $10 because I, don't expect people to throw huge amounts of money at a tiny ass channel like this. But I'm just trying to find a way to make a little bit of extra money to help my family because I really don't feel like sitting on government assistance forever. And a lot of people don't want to hire blind people. They will hire deaf people, people in wheelchairs, pretty much any disability before a blind person. I'm not entirely sure why. I do actually plan on doing a video about that in the next couple of weeks, covering the different attitudes to blindness, because there have been some studies done about people choosing, or if they had to choose what disability they would be stuck with, what would they choose? And a lot of people go with being in a wheelchair, being deaf, Some people would say they would rather have cancer than be blind. So being hired as a blind person is very difficult. So this is my little way of trying to make some extra money. There's also a Streamlabs to support the live stream. Unfortunately, I don't have Streamlabs OBS because there's no Mac version for for Streamlabs OBS, first of all, and regular OBS does not function with my screen reader. So I will just periodically check the Streamlabs. If there are any donations, I will read them out loud, absolutely, and I will definitely thank people live on stream. If I get Streamlabs donations after streams, they will be read and thanked next stream. So, and there's another link in the petition or in this description, and it's a petition I created to Valve Corporation, the makers of Steam, to hopefully do some revamping of the Steam client to make it more accessible for blind and low vision gamers. Because there are game developers who are trying to make their games more accessible. Skullgirls is actually one of them. But if Steam isn't accessible, then you can't play Steam games that are, because you can't get on Steam. So, and I found out you can sign the petition with your screen name, so you don't have to dox yourself. So take a look at that as well. Now, let's see. No, Nico, it's not personal at all. I was not born blind. I was exposed at 6 months old to a little girl who had the measles because her mother thought that they had mercury in the vaccines. So she did not vaccinate her daughter and brought her daughter to my grandmother's house and did not tell my mom or my grandma that that her daughter was sick. And the measles vaccine is given at a year, not at 6 months. So I caught the measles, and that triggered something called cytomegalovirus, which is actually a dormant virus carried by most humans. It's actually transmitted sexually more often than not. It's very common in the third world countries. But the measles just happened to trigger the cytomegalovirus. So I was put in a sick kids hospital for a month, and they tried to save my vision. And so they ended up taking out my right eye completely, and they took out my left retina. They thought they could save my vision in my left eye, but they could not. So they ended up taking out my left retina. So now I wear a full prosthetic eye in my right eye and a thick cap that just covers my left eye to make it look normal. So that's what I was doing on Friday. There's actually a video that just got put up on my channel last night called Blind Press's New Eyes. It shows you how my eyes were made, if you want to go check that out. Yeah, see, I deal with mental illness as well, Nico. Anti-vaxxers should be beaten if they have children. Yes, yes, Gaius Gracchus, yes. But yeah, that's why I hate being on disability. I actually deal with some mental health issues as well because of my blindness. there's a thing called your circadian rhythm. So a lot of blind people have something called non-24-hour sleep disorder because their brains uh, biologically cannot tell when it's night. So even though we may not, like, we know because we don't feel the heat of the sun, we know how to tell time. Like, so cognitively, we know that it's night. Biologically, we don't. So a lot of blind people are insomniacs, me included, and a lot of them have depression because they don't get the vitamin D properly from the sun through the eyes, and skin absorption is not as efficient. So, a lot of blind people also suffer from depression, seasonal affective disorder, stuff like that. So, because of me being blind and me being like a lot of mental health issues, I have to be on disability as well. So, this is my little way of trying to make some extra money for my family. Um, so yeah. Um, let's see, what else? Don't worry about being don't worry about asking too many personal questions, guys. I am an open book when it comes to my blindness. Um, I know there was a stream the other night where um, oh, I'll see you later, Gaius. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming and watching. Yes, it's a lot of blind children. You really got to keep them on a schedule. Because otherwise they won't sleep properly. My mom had to work really hard, and I still have a hard time staying on a good sleep schedule. Um, like it's even hard. Like it's really hard, even when you have kids. You especially when you have kids, you got to do it for them too, right? So it's it's tough. Let's see. Smoke break. I know that another person on another stream the other night, Gutenberg, was asking about dreams. So I figured I will talk about dreams. Because he was asking actually my husband Pincalo, because I was asleep, um, how I dream. So I will address that because a lot of people ask me that actually, and I kind of fluctuate between seeing and not seeing in my dreams. Um, it's weird. Like sometimes I'll start out seeing and I'll be doing an activity like driving, and then right in the middle of doing that, I'll just randomly be blind again, and I'll just start panicking and going like, "Oh shit, I'm driving and I can't see." Um, but when I do see in my dreams, I see in color, and it's weird. When I can see, everything is flat, but it's in color. But when I'm blind, everything is in 3D, and I can like physically, like, I walk around places. I have like a 3D map of where I am in my head. But as soon as I can see in my dreams, it's it's um it's very like when I see, it's very flat, but when I'm blind, it's very three-dimensional. And probably because that's how I know my world is, like, I'm when I can, like, I can only imagine seeing, so it's very just a dim outline. Um but when I go back to being blind in my dreams, like because of it's what I know, everything is Um, it's very like probably because I know it's what I can expect. It's very three-dimensional. Nico says it's very cool that I think it's very cool that developers are making games for blind people. It is. They're starting to understand that we like video games. We like the social aspect of playing video games, and a lot of people now that are losing their sight as adults were gamers, and they don't want to lose the ability to game. So, it's really cool that game devs are listening. And I just hope that people who are in control of platforms like Steam will listen to gamers and game devs. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One actually have text to speech on their platforms now, so that blind people can use their platforms without sighted help. Um, like, it would be cool to play Soul Calibur in Weapons Master mode and have the instructions for what you need to do for the missions read out to you by the computer instead of having to play with a sighted person sitting there with you. Um, it's really cool. There's a couple of blind YouTubers that play video games. Um, I'm subbed to them, and they do like campaign modes in Call of Duty and Resident Evil 6 and stuff like that, because it's not quite as sophisticated enough to find the loot on your own that you need. So you need a little bit of help with that. Um, but to do campaign modes and stuff, it's doable now. Jesse the Fennec Fox says some disabilities are triggered by epilepsy. Um, trauma such as epilepsy. I get people that assume that, let's see, that assume that your mental illness is cured just by meds. Do you get that with your mental illness? Um, yeah, I do get that. Oh, like, oh, aren't your meds working? Um, and yes, they are working, but the thing is that meds work so that you can work on yourself. They don't fix you, they enable you to fix you. And that's a lot of the that's a big thing that a lot of people don't think about, is that they expect to take a pill and be okay. But no, you have to take the pill, and the pill helps balance out the chemicals in your brain that cause you to feel like debilitatingly like there is no point in working on yourself, so that you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get working on yourself and get yourself feeling better. The meds are not a cure all. The meds help you work on yourself. And I have to explain that to a lot of people. Still not getting a next gen console. I know, Pincalo, I know. I will settle for finding someone else's console and playing that. Oh, Zucklon that's a good question. Um, there's a couple of apps on my phone that I use for distinguishing things that aren't three-dimensional. I have um, had to like a couple of the one's called Seeing AI, and it's what you do is you use your phone's camera, and it takes a picture of whatever you're pointing at, and it'll tell you, um, depending on what option you've chosen. It can read a barcode, it can read a product label, it can do color identification, all sorts of things. Um, Also, I have put we put our oldest in daycare last year, just because for the socialization aspect. He had some speech issues, um, and they can help teach him things that would have been harder for me to teach, like, reading letters and stuff like that. I can show them 3D letters and things like that, but teaching them the ability to read um, is something that's harder. So he went to daycare for a year. He's now in JK, and our youngest is now in daycare. He took his spot. So between daycare, the technology on my phone, and finding a lot of three-dimensional shapes and letters, um, I've been able to work with my kids that way. Yeah, our Nico, RPGs like Pokemon and Final Fantasy would be great if the text was read out and images were described. Exactly, exactly. Um, it would be really fun. For reading, Nico says, do I prefer to use an app, audiobook, or read Braille? Depending on what I'm doing, if I'm reading to learn something, I need it in Braille. If I need to remember it, um, I'm definitely going to want it in Braille. If I'm doing something for entertainment purposes, audiobooks are all right. Um, Again, though, if I really want to get into a book, I'll read it in Braille. Braille is definitely my preferred medium, but it is expensive and it does take up a lot of room. Um, so if I had, like, Audible is a great second option, um, because you can get a lot of good books and the narrators are great. Um, but yes, if I had my first choice, it would be Braille. Um, but again, because it's so expensive to produce, they usually just stick with popular books or the um, classics. So if you want to get books that aren't, bestseller or classical books, Audible's your best bet. Um, so that's my thing. Right now, I'm reading Harry Potter in Braille out loud to my little ones, because I have all of them. My mother found a place in Boston called the National Braille Press, and they are the only organization that actually works to make Braille books roughly the same amount as you would pay for a paperback. Sometimes you have to pay the price of a hardcover book, but it's still way, way cheaper than normal. Braille books usually cost upwards of $100 to $200, depending on how many volumes they have. So, um, to pay under $30 a piece for the Harry Potter books um, was amazing. The first one, the Sorcerer's Stone, is 4 volumes in Braille. The Deathly Hallows is, I want to say, 13. Yeah, 13, I think. I know Order of the Phoenix is 13. Order of the Phoenix is definitely 13. Goblet of Fire is 10. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of room. I'm gonna actually have Pincalo help me when our living room is less disastrous. Um, I'm gonna take once my living room is less disastrous, I'm gonna have Pincalo help me take a photo of our bookshelves, because we have two that are full of Braille, and it's only about 20 books in total, like 20 actual titles. Um, and Pincalo says, for your information, The Fellowship, Lord of the Rings is about 9 of the old style phone books. It's 5. Um, yes. we do have a Learn Braille book that Pincalo bought, and I do want to teach my kids Braille, because it is actually a language, and you can put on like not just for a resume, but it's cool to have that knowledge. Um, and that would be something that, they would have, and something that they know how to do that not really many kids would know, and I would definitely teach them. Just not just because I'm blind, but just because it would be fun to have that to teach them, just to spend time with them and teach them Braille and all that. Exactly, Zach B. Knowledge is power. Schooling for me was interesting. I went to a public school, so I didn't go to the school a school for the blind. Um, so I basically when they learned how to write, I was learning my Braille. When the crappy part about going to public school was I did get excluded from some things, like physical education. They would, like in grade 4 and 5, I actually got bad marks for participation in physical education, but they would remove me from the class and make me do things with my educational assistant, but then penalize me for participation. Um, but when I got to the higher grades, they were much more adaptive, for physical education. Especially in high school, I was able to join the grade 10 girls class, and they did weightlifting and stuff like that. So when my class in grade 9 was doing things like playing basketball or field hockey, I would go to that gym class. So I was never excluded then. But in elementary school, it was tough, because I wanted to learn how to print at least. I really wanted to learn how to handwrite. Um, and my Braille teachers were like, "Well, you're blind. You don't need to know how to write." And I'm like, "Well, what about when I grow up and need to sign things?" And they're like, "Oh, well, you can just X things." And I'm like, "No, that's not okay." And my best friend actually ended up teaching me all of my print uppercase letters. Um, she took the time to cut out of paper the shapes of the letters, and for a sleepover, before the sleepover, she wrote out sentences in glitter glue so that I could like get a feel for what different words looked like. And like she came up with this idea at 9. We're still best friends to this day. Like we're auntie to each other's children. Um, and yeah, like that's yeah, that's cool. Help others learn lessons. Yes. Oh, Pincalo already has a photo of all the Braille books. Well, guys, we've got about 5 minutes left because I don't want to run into the Kumite. And it's scheduled to start at 11:30. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out and making my very first coffee stream such a success. Thanks for all the questions. I really, really love doing this. Um, Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Um, if you're able, um, click like donate to Streamlabs or become a patron. Even $1 a month helps. I just want to teach my kids that just because I'm blind doesn't mean that I should just sit on disability forever. So I'm just trying to help out the family here, and Thank you so much for watching, even if you just watch and share and get the word out. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for hanging out and chat while we read the news and laughing at the silliness. Um, thank you. Thank you, Nico, for the compliment. Definitely check out the late videos. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Zach on B is the coffee stream. And I also do Star Trek streams. This Saturday is our next one. And I do something called the night stream as well, which takes place on weekends. I'll probably be doing Halloween themed things in October for the night stream, most likely talking about the Evil Dead franchise because there's a lot, and it's my one of my favorite horror franchises. So I'll probably pick something to talk about each night stream in October. So yeah, but the coffee stream is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10. Um, thank you very much for the compliments, everybody. Thank you very much, Zeklon B. You definitely come back and watch everyone. And you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to end it here. Make sure you guys go and check out the Kumite if you don't already. It's a great show. And everyone, have a great day. Hail that whale, and we'll see you later.